Yeah. So today's session, let me tell you, like 5 sessions we have successfully completed, and this is the sixth session. And I don't want this session to be very long. Okay, some session should be a warm-up session, I would say, warm-up session, because from next week, what we are starting is literally a new thing. Again, you will learn different things. So that's why today's session will be, you can say, a little cold session, but yes, the topic, is very warm. That is a security, okay, in Spring Boot, in Spring Boot. So what others are doing is, or what I am doing is, my motive is something different, okay. Uh, what others do is they generally start with the basic things, go, and then when we reach at the mid of the Spring Boot, then they start with the Spring security, okay. So let me tell you the frank thing, okay, about the interviews or about the life. So the Spring Boot life is very easy. It's just like the experience, who the more number of experience where you are working. What in the Spring role is like, you should know about the Spring security. Okay, the HLD is the first thing. Low level is anything can do. Okay, anything can do. It's just a matter of discussion. HLD is basically your system architecture, how very well your system architecture is. Just like if I show you this code, okay? So this is a complete architecture where everything is crystal clear to any of the resources who are opening this repository for the first time. Similarly, if you have a multiple things, again in your brain, how you are gonna map the particular different things into a folder, into a subsequence of folders, is the or are the most critical things that you need to be focused. And how this will come by experience, okay. I know new joiners who have 1 year's experience, 2 years, 3 years of experience, they are learning high level, or I would say a system design. They are remembering what is solid principle, what is KISS, what is drive, what is Yagni, and other things, okay. UML diagram, that is fine. It is basically a theoretical. The most important is experience is going to tell you where the code is cracked, where the bug happened, and how you can fix it. So this is the first thing inside the Spring. Then in the mid layer, the security comes. Okay, we start with, yesterday I showed you the basic authentication. Then we have JWT. If we go, we do with MSAL, Microsoft Authentication Language. If I have the Gmail ID, I can do the Gmail credential. So someone says that, okay, Gmail, MS, JWT, those things are a very production level data, or in practical I should not do. But this is a myth, okay. Auth is nothing. Basic auth, you can just configure some of the hard-coded values of username and password, and you are done. Okay, you are providing this auth. For the beginner level, it is okay. It is fine. It is totally acceptable. But right now, according to the situation of the market, you should be a very active in every department. Okay, everything should be crystal clear. So you are not only a developer, you are developing an overall architect, right? So that's why security is one of the major concerns which student misses, or in the interview they face the challenges. Okay, that is the main thing. So today the three things that we are going to discuss, I'll group by. The first thing is, yesterday I asked some of the questions. We'll have a discussion on our code level. Second thing, we will discuss about the security, full security systems questions. And the third thing which I have thought is interview questions. Okay, so till that's clear to everyone. It's fine. The agenda is clear to all.
Yeah, sir, it is clear.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, again, the one thing, every developer's mind are different. Okay, I'm repeating again. Just like every organization has their different goals, similarly, every developers have their own mindset. Okay, so you can't say that, okay, this oval is correct and my oval is wrong. No, it's not like that. If you are justifying like why you have drawn this oval, it's totally acceptable. Okay, so if we start with the one thing that we have the code level things, you will get to know what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, so without any delay, let's get started. Okay, so the very first thing that we have seen, and I have asked you yesterday, was Why is the first question? Why is my resource not found exception is inside service classes and not in exception folder? Okay, so this can be a question, and if someone's tell you, okay, why you have done it, so you are thinking, yes, this question might be the reason someone can ask and someone cannot ask, because it is a mix of the responses. What why I have done, I'll just try to interpret you. Okay, so right, in this inside the service we have resource not found exception. Okay, if department services and employer services. So if I open this department services, so my department services is simply saying that resource not found exception to any ID. Okay, that's the first thing. Inside the employment services, I have again used it in the delete file. So I'm saying that throw resource not found exception. Okay. So basically, resource not found exception is an exception class that is lies over here, and deploy service and department service is consuming and is trying to throws it if we are not able to find any ID and if we want to delete any ID. Okay. Then we have an exception over here. Yeah, this is the exception folder and this is global exception handle, where it is handling catches it all the global exception and returns HTTP 404, 400, and the another method which is also returning the same thing, 400. Okay. Tone in service layer we have showed you, right? Here inside this service, what we have shown, what we have thrown is dot find by ID. That is the most critical thing. Okay. So if I open this, my global exceptional handler.java. So here you will see we have handle not found exception. Where is that? Yes, handle not found. Yeah, here. So what are we doing over here? In this method, we are saying that you are using this response entity. If I want to return a response as a code, we are using this response entity. And I'm saying that, okay, something is not correct. We are not founding anything. So you can see over here, right? We are using this return not found exception. Where it is resource not found exception. This is inside my service class, right? So inside service, I have an exception. So both placements are valid. We put it in service because the service layer owns the business rule, right? And this employee or department must exist. So the exception package that we have is reserved for cross-cutting web concern. Is reserved for cross-cutting web concern, things that translates error into HTTP response. So that's why if I want a single hierarchy for this, I don't want to mix my resource not found exception. I know here I can get two issues. So inside the department service, inside the employee service, this is my resource exception. And resource is basically is nothing. It's just a message that is going to call by our global exception. So if I click on this, it will open on this page. So what are we doing over here? At the exception resource not found will come over here, and it will show you message 404 with the timestamp. Simple. So the layered responsibility, again, we have service layer. So service is nothing, it's just a business logic, decide when something is not found. Exception handler is nothing, HTTP translation, decide how to respond with the status code, JSON body. Exception class is the signal between them. Exception class, I'm repeating again, is the signal between them. Can live in either of the package. That does not determine. It's fine. Why not always put it in exception is the next question which I think you must ask to me. Why not always put it in exception? So the answer is pretty much clear. Put every custom exception in exception is a common beginner pattern. Okay, so the same example, every oval, some can draw little bit less, some can draw bigger. So it totally depends, but I'll tell you a normal production level things that if you put every exception is a common beginner pattern, it works, but it mixes two idea. Okay, so question, if I write a question over here, why not put always it in slash, sorry, exception slash folder. Okay, in the inside class. Okay, so the first thing is the first thing, domain and application exceptions. Domain and application exceptions. Okay, so employee 42, if I say my employee 42 does not exist, doesn't exist, it means like we are referring about the business logic, right? It relates to our business meaning. That's the first thing. Second is infrastructure. So I say infra slash presentation exception. Presentation exception means how to format a 404 JSON response. JSON response. Okay. This we call it as a web. So I will say web meaning. Okay. So resource not found exception, resource not found exception, that are we getting, is a domain level signal, right? Is a domain level signal. Okay. The service will say, I looked for this resource and it is not there. The controller never checks its existence, the service does. That's why we have put inside the service class. Is it clear till now? Till now it's clear. Now why we haven't put in the exception? No, yes. Guys. Okay. Okay. That's the first thing. Why not always put it in the exception? Second thing, now second thing is gonna come into the picture. Second concern is why not always put it in service class. Okay, someone wants to put it there, not put it there in the service class. So why not always put it in service? So again, it totally depends on team. Some teams, they have a proper exception package, dedication package. They say that if you feel any exception, make the changes inside. So resource not found exception. That's the first exception.java. Okay, add it over here. Second thing is global exceptional handler.java. Okay, add it here. Third thing is API error response. Assume like you are getting some of the error. So API response. So that is cleaner for the larger projects where many layers like service, repository, external APIs throw the same exception. If it throws the same exception, then definitely you should not use inside the service. You should use the exception layer. Okay. So if you are thinking from an architect purpose and you want a clean, I'm repeating again, if you want a clean format of your code, so do not always put exception, all the classes or the custom exception inside the exception folder. Some might be uh, persist in your service class as well. Okay, so that is again repeating, why not always put it in the service. That so for the larger project, many layers we have, right? So that's why we prefer inside the exception, just like we were drawing it. So it's again up to you, up to your project. It's not like you want to put in service always. Okay, fine. So if I want here, so what I can do, I'll simply put this resource not found exception. I will place it to our exception. Okay, I'll say okay. Do not ask me again. Okay. Then we'll get any error. Let's see. If I open my service classes, I think so. I'm not going to get any error. Yeah. So right now, this has been moved to our resource not found exception. So everything, anything is fine. Is not an issue. Okay. Every package got changed, every department got changed, and you are good to go. Okay. Resource not found is now sorted. It's up to you. Okay. Perfect. Can anyone tell me what is checked versus unchecked exception? That is also a good question in the in the Java. Checked exception. Yeah, anyone?
Yeah, checked exception is like the compile time exception which we must need to handle, and the runtime is the unchecked one which is better to handle, but it is not like mandatory to handle.
Okay. Can you tell me the example?
Yeah, checked is like a class not found kind of exception, and
Class not found. Okay.
mm, and unchecked is any null pointer or mathematical arithmetical exception kind of things.
Okay. Null pointer exception. Okay. If you all know, then I'm not going to repeat it. Okay. So resource not found exception is extending our runtime exception, right? If I open my resource not found exception, it's gonna extend my runtime exception. Okay. So that is intentional, means service methods do not throws in their signature. Spring at the rate transactional rollbacks on unchecked exception by default. New things you are going to remember. If I write this everything in this class or in Java is intentional. Okay. So let me increase the size of this. Yeah, perfect. Public class resource not found exception extend runtime. Okay. So meaning is we have used this one. Okay, we have used this one runtime exception. So what is the use of this? So we have added intentionally means service method. It was inside the service. So service, whatever the service I have added, methods, service methods does not need what it does not need to throw their signature. Throws their signature. That's the first thing. Second thing is inside the Spring we have uses at the rate transactional. Okay, transactional. So transactional will rolls back. Okay, it's gonna roll back on unchecked exception. Unchecked exception by itself. That's the meaning. Third thing is at the rate exceptional handler that we have added as an annotation can catch it globally. Runtime we are getting, so it will gonna catch globally without using our try and catch block. That's the use of we are using the runtime exception. Simple. So in the interview, someone will ask why have uses the method extend runtime exception. You will say the exception class defines the error type. The service throws it when a business rule fails. The at the rate REST controller advice maps it to HTTP. Package placement is a team convention. We kept the handler in exception or service and the domain exception close to where it is thrown. Simple. That is all about why we have used resource not found exception. So, I mean, I have took almost 20 minutes on a small thing, right? So, so this 20 minutes first come with my experience. Okay. So that's why everything that you are doing in your code, it should map with some of the logic. You should not blindly start writing the code right now, the perfection. You know, if you are very perfect, then you are going to survive in this industry. I'm telling you with my experience, with my current team or the folks that are in different industry. Okay, so perfect, do perfect, make perfect, try to being a perfect person, rather not like what is checked a check, you will write the flow with the AI and everything is done. No, this thing is gonna hit you harder when you reach at a certain stage of your experience. Clear, guys? The first topic is clear, everyone? Okay, now the major thing start. Okay, I will say a major thing and please focus on this part. Okay, where is that? Yes. So I'll just draw a line because this line and this is one of the important, okay, very important of today's class. So please focus. I'm not going to take much time, but whatever the things we will discuss, please focus on that. Okay. Watching recording is another thing, but if I am teaching in the class, so it's better to watch it now. Arey, where is my pen here? One second. भाई पेन गायब हो गया क्या? Okay. Uh, where is the pen? Right. Am I missing over here or what is the issue? Ah, okay, got it. Yeah. Okay. So the second thing is security configuration. Okay. Security configuration, and it whatever I am going to explain, remember it through your life. Everything in the interview regarding the security config is gonna clear because you are in AI bootcamp with me. So please, this is very, 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 very important. Sure. Let's start. I will close all the things over here. We'll try to do some demo as well, and I'll open this config folder. Okay. Yes, config folder. So right now I have this much of logic written. I'm inside my this import ams.config where we have the annotation. So there is no separate web MVC configuration. So first thing, if starting with that, we need to have some knowledge of the things. Okay. So the first thing, it's your homework. Just check what is MVC config. Second thing, check what is JPA config. Okay. I'll use it in the next project, but yeah, before that, please check that AI config. Okay. So just check what is the use of web MVC config, JPA config, AI config, and this is your homework. Okay. The first thing you need to do once our class gets over. As of now, inside this configuration, we don't have web MVC, JPA, or AI config. So what will happen is Spring Boot auto configurations handles our data sources, JPA, time leaf, and Spring AI from where? From where? Guys, a common question. If for the Spring Boot, auto configuration handles data sources, JPA, Heimleaf, and Spring AI. From where inside our Spring project?
Like from the dependencies we have added in the POM.xml or Gradle file, and
Awesome. Yes, awesome. Or application.yml. Correct. Perfect. So security config is the only explicit security we are wiring in this project. So you're saying that DTO entity exception repository, everything is coming from our application.yml and form.xml. But this security configurations that we are adding it over here is the only explicit or external security wiring we are using in this project. Okay. There's the first thing you need to mention this for the security configuration, why we have added. Now, if I start with a walkthrough of these three lines first, configuration, enable web security, and public class security. Okay, let's copy this configuration and enable security. So I'll copy over here, I'll paste it over here. Yeah, paste it, go up, start. So what actually we are doing, this configuration, just write it, it's gonna tells our string, tells string. What is gonna tell? This class, only one thing, this class has @bean annotation. Okay, this configuration is gonna tell my Spring, hey, this class has @bean annotation. Simple configuration in one rule, you will remember it forever. Enable web security. So enable web security say turns on Spring security. I'm repeating again, turns on Spring security filter chain, FILTR filter chain for a servlet web app. For a servlet web app, web application. Okay, this is my enable security. So without @enable security, adding Spring Boot starter. So we are adding in the Spring in the form like Spring Boot. What was that? Spring hyphen boot hyphen starter hyphen security. Okay, would still secure the app with default rules. Okay, with Again, I'm repeating, without @enable web security, adding this dependency inside the pom.xml will still secure the application with their default rules. So everything logged, generated password in logs, our class replaces those default. Simple. So if you added only, and if you rerun the application, whatever the endpoint XYZ you have added, it will redirect to your slash login. This is your internal pre-built function if you added this pom.dependency without enable web security. And inside the console, you will get your username and a long password. Okay, but you are using this, you are just using enable web security, right? So enable web security will turn on the Spring security filter chain for a servlet web application. Clear till now? This two annotation is clear? Okay, then the first thing that we have, okay, that is the first thing, @bean. Inside the bean, we have this line, public security filter chain, public security filter chain. So let's copy this, let's paste this, and have start discussion over there. So public security filter chain is one of, you can say that this is a heart of Spring security. Just say, assume this is the heart of Spring, Spring, Spring security 6, or I would say Spring Boot 3.x, whatever the things. So meaning is one filter chain, filter security filter chain means one filter chain equals to again, what does it say? It says that one filter chain equals to one set of rules applied to incoming HTTP request, simple. So everything has its meaning. So Spring security filter chain, you know, this secure Spring security filter chain is the heart of Spring security 6, or Spring that comes in the Spring Boot 3.x. And one filter chain, this security filter chain, we have one. So one filter chain is equals to one set of rules that applies to the incoming HTTP request. That's the first thing. Then we have some another thing. So I'll just copy till this from this HTTP. Yeah, and we are using this HTTP security. Okay, this HTTP security. So that is applying to your HTTP requests. So do not get confused. This HTTP security is coming from this. Okay, now the method is coming. Okay, I'll just one second. Yeah, 34, 72, 95. Yeah. Now let's start discussion on this. This is important part. So we have HTTP authorize request, auth request matcher. What are we doing over here? Okay. So first thing is, this is our variable. Okay. And authentication. This auth is going to call this request matcher. Okay, correct. Meaning for this line says, if you feel we have slash login, if you find the slash login URL pattern, so this is my URL pattern. Okay, this is my URL pattern. Who can access? Anyone can access. Why? Custom login page must load without authentication, right? This is my custom login page. So custom login page can be authenticated by, can used by anyone. That's the first thing. So I've added request matches slash login. Okay, it's fine. Slash CSS. So next is slash CSS slash star means CSS subfolders. Okay, can be accessed by anyone because I want UI as well, right? So I will say static style for the login page. I don't want a normal without CSS page. Okay, I want to enhance my company UI. That's why slash CSS slash star. It's fine. If I have the database, because already if you have a login page, you are authenticating it. So this H2 console should have a data, right? So slash H2 console and whatever its subfolders, you can access to anyone, right? Anyone who has this H2 DB console. Okay. This is only for the dev only. I'm telling you, this is for dev only. Never should inside the production. Okay, that is the three thing. Then we have request matcher. Request matcher is URL pattern slash API slash stars. So this star is basically whatever the things coming to you. Okay, this is saying that who can access those who have authenticated, means logged in user only, okay. That's the first thing, by using its REST API. That's why I have this slash login slash CSS console dot permit all. Okay, this is my permit all thing, right? Dot permit all. Okay. If you feel that this is the one line, this is complete the one line. So dot permit all login CSS has to permit to everyone. Request matcher, if you say that slash API slash whatever the things to your REST API, do not allow everyone. Those who have authenticated, dot any request dot authenticated. So please logged in only user only can access it. Okay, so first match winning rule is permit all rule must come before broad authentication rules, everything. Okay, clear? Tell us clear, guys, everyone. Okay.
Yes.
So now we have another thing. If I go back, slash login slash is fine. Then we have this another one, HTTP basic customizer with the defaults. So let's copy this. Yes. Another thing says that we have two authentication managed. Able to hear me? Can you please anyone confirm?
Yeah. Now
Yes,
you
even
are
audible.
like,
ठीक है.
yeah.
कहाँ पे थे? Where are we?
You just pasted it
Okay.
into this.
Okay. So first thing is, again, the second mechanism, authentication mechanism we have added, like the HTTP basics. And here you have a form. This form is calling the slash login. So you will say that this is my success URL. So you will return it as a true, and permit all. Who has this access? Give a permit all. So we use both. Okay. So if I write the mechanism, so I'll write like this, text. I'll say mechanism, MECHANI. Yes, this is my mechanism. Second, I'll copy paste. Then mechanism. Second thing, what can be I can use? Used by. I can say used by paste, and I will say how credentials are sent. Again, this is very important. How credentials are sent. Okay, that's the three thing that we are gonna see right now. Arey yaar, why this is coming like this? ठीक है ना, I have this by mistaking letting two credentials. Understand this is only one A. Okay. So two authentication I showed you this one, and let me copy this again. Copy paste. Yeah. ठीक है. Don't get confused. These are the two things. Okay. Two authentication mechanism we are using it. Mechanism used by credentials are the three things that we need to discuss now. So form login, okay. You have seen, right? We saw this form login, so I will write form login. Okay, form login can be used by browser. Right now we are using our ThymeLeaf template engine, so ThymeLeaf UI. Okay, how credentials are sent? So inside my HTML, I'll show you inside the HTML, inside our form, there we are using this post, and this post is going to send the cookie. So this will be your session cookie that is our J. Yeah.
Yes. Now
Yeah,
you
it
are
is
audible.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Give me 2 minutes. Okay. I'll just check what is happening. Okay. Give me 2 minutes.
Sure.
Hello, I'm audible, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, I lost for a minute. I don't know what is happening with our Wi-Fi. Not again. Okay. Hmm. What are we discussing?
From login, you just started explaining.
Basic authentication. Okay, okay. I hate it. Okay, when the flows break, I hate it. Okay, we recall the form login. We are discussed browser theme like A. How credentials are sent. We are using this HTML authentication for this timely. Okay. For the HTTP basics that we are using, so HTTP this basic. So this basic is basically for the postman. Okay, yesterday we were adding some of the credentials, right? So this postman, or if I want some curl to get added, or API clients if I want to send, so there we are using it. So simple, how credentials are same, both uses the same user detail service. User details service. I'll show you what is user detail service. Do not worry. Bean. Bean is very important. So both uses the same user service detail. Okay. So if I'll tell you a common flow for this, so the flow, let's discuss about the flow. Yeah, that is very important. So what will happen if I say browser? Okay, browser, that is your form login. Yesterday I showed you, right? Form login. I think yesterday, दिखाया तो था yesterday. Yes. So form login, what will done? First, when user opens, so yesterday what we open, our local host 8080 ports. We open this local host 8080 port. Then what happened? We are not authenticated. So I'll say no authenticated. It will redirect it to our /login. Okay. Third thing is User submits its credentials. So creds. I'll show you where we have this creds. Okay. XYZ, assume XYZ, or yesterday we were using hr@corecados.n. ck.n we were trying to add it. This is our user submits. Spring security, what it does, the actually Spring security starts validating it. So Spring security validates against whatever you have passed inside your user detail service. Fifth is your HTTP session. So now it's gonna create HTTP session created. It will send J session ID cookie. Then sixth is your you will redirect. So the redirect will start and you will redirect to your slash. So slash is nothing. That was your home.html yesterday. And second thing is subsequent request send cookie. If you have the subsequent request multiple user, the same process is gonna authenticate it. So this is the flow that we are going to use it for your form login if you're using this browser. Okay. Second flow comes with if I have the API. Okay, flow API. So if I'll say flow, and second, let me change the color. That is your API. This is very bad. API, that is your HTTP basics. HTTP basic. So what it does it, if you have the curl command, I'll show you curl command. So if you add it in the header, I'm not remember the actual thing, but you would say that curl -u hr@ck.n, and then you will then colon username colon password hr123, right, and your URL over here. Okay, URL. If you give this, then what will happen? First thing, the step will be client sends authorization header. So this is my -u is the header. This is my header. So header sent on every request, on every request, on every request. Again repeating on every request. Every request. This is not like session because HTTP basic is every request you need to authenticate first. Spring security. Spring security, what it does, it gonna decode. decodes your username slash password, whatever you are giving over here. Third thing is validates against your user detail service. The fourth thing is no session cookie required, no HTTP basics. So again, explaining these four, you are learning new thing. No session cookie required. That's the first thing. Second thing is on every request you need to pass the header. The header will be your username and password. From where it is coming? It is coming from user detail service. Where is my user detail service? That is inside your configuration folder. How it is calling? We have added @bean annotation. Simple. Employee control. And you are can you able to hear me now? Aditya, Shubham, Tanisha, Abhishek.
Yes.
And
Yes.
kahan and where are we? This flow, I think, explained, right? Clear? This flow?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So now you know everything what we have written over here from this to this. 100% everyone in your life, it will be remembered forever. Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
This one is logout. Logout is very simple. We are just trying to say default logout URL post hyphen logout. So if Spring Security default say after logout, go to login. If logout get clicks means timely show the success message that you have been successfully logged out. That's the simple thing. Like if someone press logout is gonna press this success URL slash login or else logout dot permit or simple. Now this is the major thing. CSRF. Okay, CSRF. Copy this, paste this. So this is the actual game you need to start. Okay. Now anyone tell me what is CSRF?
Yeah, like the full form is a cross-site request forgery. It is like it is a hacking kind of thing, like which is from CSRF we have to protect our application. Like no one outsiders of our application can directly like access to our APIs. Like it really do,
Mm-hmm.
like whenever I have logged in, they try to get my cookie and my session data, and they try to do the like with my data they try to log in on their system, that kind of thing.
Okay. Anyone else?
Like it will ignore the request coming for these matchers, like API star star if we are getting as a request.
Mm-hmm.
So it will ignore those URLs like as to console, so DB related whatever is coming, and API star star, like if uh, there is no specific uh, matching the and someone is using like star star and all for illegal
Mm-hmm.
uh, request, so it will ignore it.
Mm. Okay. I mean, it's fine. So why is Spring introduced this cross? And okay, what is the difference between CSRF and CORS? There are two terms, right, which is often very common and confusing: CSRF and CORS.
CORS is like a mechanism like used in microservice where we separate our read and write queries. I forgot the full name, but it is, I think, a totally different thing.
So cross-region request sharing.
Yeah,
is
right.
the
Yeah,
name.
right. Right. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm literally very frustrated with this. I don't know. One second, man. Okay, I'm back. The Wi-Fi is not working. I think there is issue in whole area. So let's start with CSRF. If there is any network issue comes, I'm so sorry for that. Okay. So CSRF is, we say that, let me change yeah, cross site request forgery. Okay. So it is a security attack. It is nothing. It is just a security attack, malicious attack, security attack, where the hacker tries. What hacker tries? Hacker simply tries to trick a logged in user into performing an action on a trusted website. Okay. So what actually happened? The key idea is the user is authenticated on a trusted website. For example, a banking website. So if I say SBI.in, okay, the browser automatically includes what? Includes users session ID. User session ID. Okay. After that, what will happen? So with request to that website, so user ID plus whatever the request coming, so it's gonna store it. What attacker does, attacker will do, it will exploit this behavior to action without the user intention. So user's intention means like attacker is here and it is watching all your credentials. Okay, all your credentials, whatever you are typing. Real life, just understand. Imagine you have a signed blank check in your pocket. Okay, so you are a person, you are definitely going to be a rich person. So you have this check, okay, of ABC Bank, okay, and you are a person who has carrying this check. Your bank trusts your signature. You have said that I have added at the rate Tim Cook is my signature. Okay, something like this. So your bank trusts your signature, not who handed the check to the teller. Okay, someone secretly takes the signed check. So I saw, okay, the check is of 1 crore, and Tim Cook has this check. What I have done, I have stealed it. So I have taken this of 1 crore check, fills in an amount and submit it. So what will happen? The bank will say, okay, this is the person, that's fine. He has a 1 crore check. Team Cook has a lot more money, so 1 crore is a very less money. So this banker is not going to call and further ask like, hey, this is your check or not. He will simply say, okay, the banks accept your signature and the signature is valid. CSRF works similarly. Okay, so whatever your signature, whatever the signature you have, assume this is your session cookie. Session cookie, that's the first thing. Second thing is your bank is equals to your website, you can assume. Third thing is your attacker, means I as the attacker in this case, equals to malicious website. Malicious website. So if you suppose you have a banking website, okay, like https:// mybank.com. Okay, you assume you have the example, you have this bank, you log in, you say, okay, I'll try to log in. So you log in. So what server will send? Server sends some of the information. The server will send set cookie, set cookie. So you will say this is my session. So I'll say session equals to ABC123. This is my assume the session. Now what will actually happen in this case? So now every request, I'm repeating again, every request to mybank.com automatically includes your session. So session cookie will be stored over here like this. Okay, so normal money transfer, if you do normal money transfer, you intentionally transfer money. So what you did, assume like transfer money, you have login, now you want to transfer. So transfer money means you will do post, obviously, slash transfer, so http 1.1, and your host is mybank.com. Your session ID, session, what will your session equals to ABC. That is what is my, this is my cookie. Okay, perfect. Amount equals to 1000 and to Alice. You are sending this money to Alice. Server will check. Okay, server is saying that okay, ABC has this 123. That's fine. This is John. So I'll say okay, this John has this signature. Okay, I know my bank is done. So now everything is corrected. Money is transferred. Now the attacker comes. So till now the flow is clear. What I'm actually doing, guys? Everyone, 100%.
Yes.
Okay. Now the attacker comes into this picture. So this attacker has this arrow, and what he is going to do. So attacker creates a website like this, https://evil.com. That is very common example you will find on YouTube. So http://evil.com. What it contains? It contains some of the submit forms. So I have added like form action. Here I created the form. Inside this I have added form action equals to your bank name, method equals to post. Okay, your input type like amount, input is your amount, and your value. Okay, amount value. Then hidden, here I have created a form hidden. This hidden is value equals to hacker. Okay, and some of the basic what is it, JavaScript I've added like document.form.submit. So if I say dot submit, so what will happen? The page automatically submits the form. Okay, the page automatically submits the form. Suppose now what will happen? I have created this malicious website. What happens? Suppose you are still logged in into mybank.com. You are here, you have logged in into mybank.com. Then you visit evil.com. Okay, first you visit mybank.com, then you visit evil.com. Okay, without your knowledge, the browser submits your slash transfer. Without your knowledge, guys, without your knowledge, slash transfer your cookie. Okay, session equals to ABC123, to amount equals to 1 lakh, to equals to your hacker hidden, that is hidden. So hacker, note something important here. The attacker never stole your cookie. The attacker never stole your cookie. The browser attached it automatically because the request was going to bank.com. Okay, what the bank sees is the bank receive another request. slash transfer, okay, slash transfer. Then you will see, okay, the cookie that is session ABC123. So the bank will think, okay, John wants to transfer the money. The request succeeds. The attacker has tricked your browser into performing the action. Clear till now? So what? Why does this happen? Browser automatically send cookies belonging to the destination website. So there, if I visit evil.com, it sends a request to mybank.com. So the browser thinks I have a cookie for mybank.com, I will include it. So the attacker cannot read the cookie because of the same origin policy. But they can often use the browser to send it. Clear, or should I explain again? Still not clear? CSRF?
Clear.
Okay. So the flow, very simple flow. If anyone has confusion, the flow will be LOGDEU logged in. 1 second. Yeah. So what happened? You first log in. Your login name is your mybank.com. Mybank.com. This mybank.com. What is happening? So here your session cookie started. Okay, what will happen then? It goes to your browser. This is my browser. You visit evil.com. Evil.com. Okay, hidden. We have a hidden over here. So you have typed hidden. So hidden post request. Post request. So now inside this post request, what is actually happening? After visiting, you are doing a post of money transfer. Okay. So if you do slash transfer, the bank will see, okay, cookie is same like ABC123. Amount is 1 lakh to hacker. Okay, to hacker. So the browser sends the cookie automatically. This is the complete flow if you want to explain in the interview. How is CSRF prevented? The most common defense in a CSRF is a CSRF token. How we can prevent this cross-site request forgery? By implementing. So how to stop? How to stop? Warning. That's the first thing. So the normal thing is how to stop for this. I will use the first thing is that is your CSRF token. CSRF token. So when the bank serves the transfer form, it will include a secret random value. Okay. When the bank serves the transfer form, it includes a secret value that will be your inside your .html. Okay. So .html will have this value equals to assume xyz 123 at the rate 456, something like this. This is my value. The name equals to your CSRF underscore token. Okay, so when user submits the form, the CSRF, when user submit, the CSRF will see token is also validate. So the server will check the request that is coming. Is the CSRF token valid? If we say yes, it is valid, so the request is accepted. So in this case, what will happen to the attacker? The attacker create a form, but they do not know the user's CSRF valid token that is inside your HTML. That is hidden. The server check. Assume that CSRF token that is invalid or that is hidden. CSRF token he say 1 2 3 4 5. But when actual transferring the money, it will check whether it is equals to XYZ 123 at the rate 456. No, it's not. So the attack is gonna fail and you will get 403 error. This is the common interview question that you need to address. Clear, guys? 100%.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it boring? Is it fine?
Fine.
नींद तो नहीं आ रही ना किसी को? You are not sleepy, right?
No, no.
Okay, perfect. So this case cross-site request forgery with this token, right? Which where are we? Where are we? Yeah, this one is very simple. What actually are we doing? We are saying that enabling slash API slash S2 console enable your CSRF. Okay. So browser form protected Spring adds hidden CSRF token REST API slash star whatever the thing controller It is disable. It is a stateless client. Postman do not send CSRF token. H2 console disable. H2 UI cannot send CSRF token easily. So in production node, if you move your APIs to session plus browser, re-enable CSRF for APIs or use JWT instead. That's we are saying that, okay, if you are using this, so ignore request matcher for this CSRF. That is crystal clear of this your code. And the last code is this. This is also important, headers. So I'll go below. Okay. So this is another topic, headers, 1 minute. Okay. So headers is basically nothing that comes in the, I will say, H2 iframe. We have this H2 iframe. Okay, we have one topic, H2 headers, H2 iframe. Means like H2 console loads in an iframe. Always remember, H2 will load always in its iframe. Without same origin, Spring Security blocks it with X frame option denied. That's why we are saying that please make it as same origin. Simple. So this is important. This is not important. This is up to you. This is a reason. A headers dot frame option frame dot same origin means H2 console loads in an iframe. And do not ask me what is iframe. I just know about iframe name. Without same origin, without the same origin, Spring Security will block it and it will say that deny. That's why we are just enabling this frame. Simple. Okay. So the last one is very important. That is bean. So you all know user detail service I was saying. So this is inside your the package of user details where we are using this interface and its method. Okay, method says that user detail service, user details, whatever the user detail, please build with the username, codecados.in, password, HR123, and you are a role, you are assigning it as HR and just build it. So if I open this user again, it's coming from your package, from a Java inbuilt package. Simple, nothing much complicated. So here you can see that what are the things we have added over here. Username, password, enable, account not expect, credential not expect, account non-log authorities. Those things are pre-built. So you can check that as well. And you are just returning in-memory user details manager, the HR user. So whatever the HR code is, password, roles, everything is gonna add it. So user detail service, what it does, it actually a Spring Security interface that's gonna load user by its username in memory. In memory user detail manager. This is user stored in RAM. It will lost on restart. User stored in RAM. Always remember in memory user detail manager, meaning users stored in RAM. It's gonna lost on restart for fine for a normal demo application in the local. Noop. I have used NWOP Noop. Noop means no password hashing, means plain text. Okay, this Noop, no password hashing. This is again important common term in your interview. Someone might ask what is the meaning of this Noop. So you must remember in this class, like Noop is no password hashing. Just a plain text HR123 I am sending it. Roles means grant role to role underscore whatever the roles HR, please grant the permission to them. Simple. So we are not using JWT in this project. Authentication is session based or per request basic authentication, you can say in the interview if you find these relevant methods that are using. Okay, clear everyone?
Yes.
I will send you the m.md file for this. Do not worry. That is very important. How the next? Do you want to start with JWT? It's fine. Shall I start the next topic of this JWT?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So next picture, and why we are not using it yet. So JWT stands for very common JSON web token. Okay, remember like this: JSON web token, JWT. It has three parts. Okay, so it is following the three part. The three part means you have a concept of header, you have a concept of payload, payload, and you have a concept of signature. Okay. So let's try to write. If you feel like it will start like E, Y, J, H, V, G, C, I, 0, I, dot, dot, E, Y, J, Z, V, W, I, dot, dot, and you can say L, K, X, W, A, M, A, N, G, O, L, I, C, H, I, mango, lychee, either is something, 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 simple. So it is divided into three parts, 1 and 2. This we call it as a header. This we call it as a payload. And this we call it as a signature. So three parts. Okay? Now, the part what it contains. So header is gonna contain your algorithm that is HS256, a common HS256. This is an example I'm telling you. That's the first thing. Second thing is your payload. What does it contain? Claims with username, expiry. Okay, so claims, you can say payload holds claims, means subject. So sub, you should have your username, expiry. Exp means your expiry, and what is your role? So roles you have. The third thing is your signature. Signature means HMAC is a common signature. RSA is a common signature. Sign on where header plus payload, or if there is any secret. Okay. So proofs tokens was issued by your server. Okay. What it proves? That token was issued by server. Okay. This is the same thing. JWT, header, payload, signature. What does it do? Header, payload, signature. You can write it down. Now, if I tell you about the JWT flow, okay, in the interviews might be someone can ask, tell me about the JWT flow. So JWT flow. Focus karna sab. So what will happen? Assume we have a client, a participant. I will say participant. Okay, participant client, participant auth controller. Just feel like inside the code what is happening. JWT service and API. Okay. So what will happen? The client is gonna click on authentication controller. He got the request as post /auth /login. The flow I'm telling you. So you got some credentials like username, comma, password. Okay. Then this auth controller as validate credentials method. Okay. Auth controller, what it does, calls this JWT service. Okay. Where it's gonna generate the token for the user. JWT service sends to the client. Okay, client, like, hey, this is your token and this is your password, token password. Okay, EYJ something it will start, EYJ. Okay, means it is JWT. Then client call my API, get /API/employees/something authorization bearer token. JWT service again call this validate token. Okay, API to JWT. I mean, this is going from API to JWT. JWT will call this API with their username plus whatever the roles. API validated and it will send you 200. This is a complete flow of your JWT. So what is difference from our current setup? What we have, just assume in your brain. So the brain architecture, your architecture brain is saying that we have state, we have API authentication. Perfect. Correct. Now we are using the basic authentication, and here we are using the JWT. Right. So here we have a server session. Right. If I talk about the state, in my project, we have server session. Server session, that is your J session ID. J session ID. It is stateless approach, so I'll say it is stateless, means server only validates the signature. I mean, this is my JWT approach I'm telling you. This is server section, this is stateless. Stateless means server only validates the signature. If I tell you about the API authentication, so API authentication means HTTP basic. This is my HTTP basic, but here we have bearer token header. Okay, expiry, session timeout, we can say session timeout. Here, expiration claim. So whatever the claim I showed you here, these claims, we have the expiry as well. So expiry claim and token is there. So it's gonna use that. Does not depend on the server. Logout, invalidate session, invalidate the session. What it will do, it will blacklist the total. It will blacklist the token. Okay, blacklist the token because it was in claim. So if I say logout, it will blacklist token, or it will wait for expiry. Wait for claims. Inside claims, expiry is there. Simple. Scalability, session need the shared store, and JWT, horizontal scaling. Okay, so this is very important thing. Clear till now, JWT guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Then
Uh,
what?
I have one question.
Yeah.
Uh, go up on the
Hmm.
sheet. So
Yeah.
this below part. Uh,
Hmm.
yes, the first part. When the client requests a login, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
what I'm visualizing here is there is a web app where there is a button called login, right?
Hmm.
So user press that button, a login form came up where he enters the username and the password, right?
Okay.
And
Hmm.
click on the login button, and inside that request goes to our Spring Boot application, right?
Hmm.
So there
Okay.
will be at the API endpoint there will be an implementation which creates the token, right? Like
Correct.
JWT token. So
Hmm.
in the JWT token, we have some hashing kind of thing, right? And
Okay.
that JWT token gets stored somewhere in the code.
Hmm.
I'm not exactly
Hmm.
like there. I'm facing some confusion, right?
Okay.
So
No problem.
yeah. Yeah, so after this login, right, let's
Hmm.
say a user opens a new tab, right?
Okay.
So how the browser or the
Hmm.
session gets to know that okay, the same user is logged in into the previous tab, so it's okay to let him go, something like that.
Okay. Hmm. Great question. So, okay, your approach was correct, like whatever the things you're saying. So let's try to explain with an example because the example is everything, right? So
Okay.
let me think what example I can give. To the login now. Okay. So. ठीक है ऐसे समझते हैं. Let's take an example. Okay, it is coming inside my mind. Assume, ठीक है, assume you have a front end. Okay, front end, and you have written on React, Angular, Postman. Okay, assume, ठीक है. You sent a request to your Spring Boot application. Spring Boot application has multiple layers. The first layer is auth controller. The second is your authentication manager. Authentication manager. third thing, your user detail service, which I showed you, user detail service. The fourth thing is JWT service. The fifth thing is your employee controller. Okay. And the last one is your database. Okay. This is my hierarchy. Now, step one. Let's go to step one. So I'll say step one. You have pressed username as Rahul and your password is Rahul123. Okay. The front end will send to my backend with some detail like, hey, someone did a post request on /API/login and below is the credential. Okay. Step two. Okay. Till now it's clear?
Yes.
Okay. Step two, this process. Auth controller. Okay. Auth controller receive it. Authentication controller receive it. So auth controller say that I have a post mapping. So I'll say I have a post mapping /login and the method is written. Okay. Method is saying that whatever the thing is coming, what you need to do, authenticate its username, password, all goes okay. So you have one string token equals to call my JWT service dot generate token and whatever the request for this username. So request dot get username. Okay. And you return new authentication response. Okay. This is my controller. Okay. So I have this JWT service till now. Till now it's clear. So controller does
Yes.
not verify the password itself. It has just written the logic, the authentication controller. It asks the authentication manager to authenticate the user. So now authentication manager, right? Because inside the authentication, we have the authentication manager. Because here authentication manager AM, I will say AM, name this. Instead of this auth, I'll just say authentication manager dot verify. Step 3, very important. It reach to authentication manager. Okay, I'm done with this green. So then what will happen? Authentication manager will say, okay, let me verify it. So internally Spring Security calls and it will call first thing, that is user detail service. User detail service. Okay. So your implementation is like, we have this username, find by username or else through something. So you say that, okay, if I inside this username, if I have the method like load user by username. So inside this, you have print Rahul. Okay, it means like Rahul has been logged. Then step 4. Step 4 is saying that, okay, go to your database. So inside the database, if you press user, so user is Rahul. What is this Rahul? Rahul is bcrypt, CRYPT bcrypt hashing, has the password and the role. What is the role? Rahul has a role of admin. So the password is not stored as password 123 or something. It will store like $2A $10 something. Now the fifth step is password verification. So step 5, the password verification will start. So Spring Security now compare this password 123 with its stored hash. Okay. So what will happen by using this method? We have this very common method bcrypt password. What is the name? Bcrypt password encoder dot matches. This is the name, bcrypt dot password dot matches. If they match, after this, whatever this dollar or this pwd123 match, okay, so successful. Otherwise 401 unauthorized. So authentication. So till now authentication and all things are done. Now authentication object is returned. So Spring creates an authentication object. So authentication. Now it's time to create the authentication. So I would say authentication. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
We lost your what is this bug? Okay. So this principal, inside this authentication, we have this principal. So inside the principal, I have named at Rahul. R. So my principal name is John or Rahul. This time we are using Rahul, na? John we are using in different classes. The principal is John. Authorities I have provided as role underscore your admin, and authenticated is true. Means yes, whatever the user sending detail inside the authentication object, the user has been successfully authenticated. Now in the step 7, I need to generate the token. So here, if you see this inside this first, I have written where yeah, jwt.gt. So generate token. So I'll call this jwt service dot generate token for this user. So our application creates the JWT. The browser does not create it. Spring Security does not create it automatically. The database does not create it. My own service that has JWT service has created this. So assume like whatever inside this service class, I have written the logic. I'll show you the logic, how we can write it. So it's gonna build with EY something, the logic. Then our step 8 is once the token is generated, then step is token is returned to client. So the controller will return a response like token, and whatever your EYJH something is gonna return. So the front end receive it, it stores it. The front end receives it, it stores it. For example, local storage or session storage or cookie. Simple. Okay. Then what will happen? JWT filter execute first. Then whatever the filters like before the it reaches your controller, Spring will see what are the requests you need to get it action, and it's gonna validate the token. So it will extract everything like subject, role, or expiry. Everything will be now inside your JWT token. So in the backend, it will start. Clear? The next question is, I think someone asked the next question. So what is happening if you open in the next tab? So JWT, so it totally depends on the case. The first case, if JWT is stored in local storage, that is very much common. So if user login /login, token is generated, front end is stored in its local storage. So the now user open another tab, to tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, all tabs share the same local storage, right? For the same origin. Correct. So when tab2 makes a request, API employees /API/employees authorization already we have with the bearer EYJH something. The token is available and server validates. Correct. So no login is required. Second thing is user opens a new browser. Chrome, you have logged in Chrome, and Firefox is a new browser or incognito. So these have a different storage. So for the Firefox local storage, it will be empty. So when the front end tries to call /API/employee, it has no JWT. Correct? So no authorization. So again, it will tell you 401 not found. So then user must log in again. Third case is when you store in a session. Okay, the token exists only in that browser, tab, or window. So if tab 1 token exists, tab 2 empty session storage. Opening a new tab does not share the session storage. So the user would typically need to authenticate again. Clear? 100% guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll tell you complete scenario. Do not confuse, because if I have missed anything, same browser. Okay. Again, I'll write it. So, and we can, after that, we have one more thing to carry, but I think I've explained today too much, a lot. So we can continue next class. It's fine, everyone?
Yes.
Chalega?
Yeah.
Okay, because next class I'll show you the code actually, how we can write the JWT. I have the ready code, but next class I'll planning because I'm also tired. Scenario. The first thing is same browser. Okay, new tab. Same browser, new tab. That is your local storage. And inside your local storage. Okay, local storage. CS JWT, yes, it will share. Login again, no. That's the first case. Second case is same browser, page refresh. If you did a page refresh, yes, no. Third thing is same browser, HTTP only cookies, HTTP only cookie. CSJWT, yes, no. Login again, no. Now three scenarios. Same browser. This time we have session storage, and you pressed new tab. This time shares availability no, you need to log in again. Okay. Same browser, session storage, new tab. Shares JWT no, login again. This is a production level idea. Different browser. Different browser. Assume like Chrome to Firefox or Edge you are going. Assume. Okay. No. I mean simple. It is no. Shares JWT no. You need to log in it again. And the last one, I think I've skipped it, incognito. No, I covered it. Incognito, I think. No, and definitely you need to log in. So this is a complete picture of JWT. So I'll share this note with you. Please check that. And from next class, we'll try to implement the new things on JWT and we will start question answer as well. So yeah, so we can do, if there is some question in employer management system that we have built, we can discuss it or we can drop off.
Sir, I have one question.
Mhm.
Till now, while I was working in a project, I was thinking the token or the JWT token, it is generated in the front end layer itself. Before going, before I am hitting my API request,
Mhm.
when I am logging, I'm entering my username and password. That time it is getting validated against a database or a provider actually, and some manager is there, like some ISAM or something is there that is actually generating my JWT token.
Who's
In
sub
my
manager? What this is? Sub manager?
it is like ISAM.
Okay,
Is a
Isam.
gateway. Yeah,
Isam. Okay.
yeah. So is it like I am thinking correctly, or like I never think in my code, I am never seen like JWT is I am writing my own logic
Hmm.
or own thing. So
Okay. Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
So no, it's not like the front end never generates the token. Okay, if you are using
mm,
ISM gateway, so what will happen? Uh, the front end does not generate as the first thing. Who generate is against the backend that will generate it. So you have the username, password. Front end have /log/log. It will go to your backend and it will return your JWT. So front end job is to collect username, send name to the backend, receive the JWT, store it, include it in the future request. Okay, gateway provider is nothing. In last system, the Spring Boot application may not generate the JWT. Instead, a dedicated identity service does. In production, I'm telling you. So user to
mm,
front end to IAM, identity provider, verify credentials, generate the JWT. Then it goes to back to your front end. Authorization is JWT. API gateway will validate the JWT. Then it will ask you to validate with the Spring Boot microservices. Like we have systems like Keycloak, Okta,
mm,
Amazon Cognito. Then we have Azure AD, right? So those things are
right, yeah.
there to generate it.
Okay, so
So,
these are
so
the
for correct. So for your flow, user to
mm,
front end username password you give, it will go
mm,
to your identity provider, like
mm,
for verifying the credentials and generate your JWT. Then it goes back to your front end. Front end says authorization is done. You have the BRL JWT. Then it
mm,
will call your API gateway.
right,
If
yeah.
API will validate your JWT and it
Mm,
will call your Spring Boot microservices.
yeah. So yeah. So I am thinking in the I'm understanding once it is generated, and suppose then I am hitting, like after doing some front end stuff, I am hitting calling my API. That time that token which was generated that time, that is only or like forwarded to my cloud, like Spring Cloud Gateway or any API gateway.
Exactly.
And yeah, then okay.
Exactly. Okay. Any more question? No. So then we can drop the guys if no question is there. And please join next Saturday. We will continue with this secret management and new project. If you have a QA, we can start discussing it. But yeah, complete this boot camp, you will become a hero. That I can feel, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Let me stop the recording. Do not leave the session. 1 second. Yeah, I think the recording. 1 second. Okay, I think recording has been stopped. Yeah. So, is there any feedback you want to share, like with my teaching technique? Anything modifications you feel like it should be required, or is it fine? I mean, those who are joining, Tanisha, Abhishek, Aditya, Shubham.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah, for
Only
me
good, or
also. Yeah.
Yes, it is very good actually.
okay? I mean, now you are able to understand, right? Everything. What are we discussing?
Yes, the system design, like previously I didn't know much about system design, but like the Spring security kind of thing, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
JWT, how login system works. Now I'm able to get it. So
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
it is good. Just one more
Hmm.
question. Are we covering the SSO login mechanism?
I will try for your last project. Okay, I'm still building that. Allow me
Okay.
some time. Yeah, yeah, I'll if possible, Microsoft authentication, and this I'll try to cover it as a
Yeah.
login as well.
Okay.
Because
My
single sign-on. Tell
Yeah.
me.
Microsoft Authenticator means the app one, right? Where we get
Yes.
the security code,
No, no,
like.
no, 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 no. MSAL is different. MSAL is like if you log in, okay, assume like you have a Microsoft authentic. Assume you are working in a company, okay, and
Mm-hmm.
if you are logged in your Edge and you want to access some of the website data, right? So
Mm-hmm.
instead of asking you login, it will say that SSO, single sign-on,
Correct, correct,
right?
correct.
So this thing I'm just watching if it is possible or not for my system. But if not, then I'll definitely tell you the architecture and how it
Yeah.
works, so
Yes.
that without implementing, you will have the enough information to explain your interview. Do not worry.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Thanks.
Okay,
Thanks.
so yeah, in third project I'll try to cover it, but second project I would say do not miss. We'll have again multiple things to cover in the Spring Boot.
So,
Hmm.
the first project is still we are developing, right? The employee
No, I think
management
it's
system.
fine. Employee management system is done. It's just like
Okay.
security things we saw, and
Okay.
this security config yesterday we didn't discuss much. So we have this, and additional thing for the employee management system is rather than using our basic auth, let's use the JWT next class. So I'll show you how instead of basic auth we can use the JWT.
Okay. And what is the second project?
Second project is let me check what was that. 1 second. 1 second. I'm just checking it. Yeah, I found it. That we are working on multiple projects now, so it's very difficult. Yeah, I got it. The first is employee management system that we have covered, and the second project was yeah. Hmm, 1 second. Initially we tried like in 10 to 11 classes, we'll try to complete this, but yeah, second is expense approval system. Okay, that is a meteor weeks. That is difficulty is medium. Okay, in your expense
Okay.
approval.
Okay, so
So
this in this employee management system, we covered the Spring Boot and the Spring Security and Spring JPA, right?
yeah, yes.
And what will be the new thing in the second project?
So here three role system will try to implement. Employee submits, then manager approves, rejects, admin will view all. JWT secured endpoint for all three roles. Status workflow like pending to approve to rejected with @ enumerated annotation. Then we'll write the business rule that cannot approve your own expense. Pre-authorized annotation we will use. Date range expense API summary. So
Oh,
we'll see how
so
AI.
it is more advanced learning of Spring security, right?
Correct. Spring Security and Spring Boot, because we have multiple annotations, we have native SQL query, we have aspect-oriented programming. So everything we will see
Oh, okay,
step by
okay,
step.
okay,
So this,
okay.
yeah, so, got it. And
Yeah,
yeah,
understood.
and another thing inside this AI feature, we will because this is Spring Boot with AI, right? So here, smart expense categorization and fraud flagging AI will try to generate it. So you will see how beautiful AI is gonna help us to identify how, like if there is any fraud flagging or expense categorization is there. So
Yeah,
this will
so
be the
it it,
AI concept.
it it will be in the same project, the
Yes, it will be
AI.
in the same project. Yes, expense approval system with AI.
Okay,
So
okay,
everything we are doing, like employee management system, you saw the AI feature that we introduced. Now we will level up one more AI feature plus level up whatever the Spring things we have.
okay. Yeah, understood.
Clear? Okay. So I'm assuming like next week you will all be joining.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. ठीक है ठीक है then we can just call it a day, so you all can drop off. Please enjoy your Sunday because tomorrow is Monday. Okay, thank you, bye bye.